number 10, we have the Dong Ghost. Now, when you hear the name Dong Ghost, I don't think the first thing you think about would be something horrific. I think about a nightmare where something that's shaped like a cucumber is chasing me around a haunted house. It sounds more like the inspiration for something you would see on Brazzers. But it turns out that this is actually one of the most horrifying webcomics on the internet. Dong Ghost is a Korean-made comic about a girl walking home late at night, and she comes across someone who looks rather strange, like something is wrong with their body, but she's not quite sure what happened to them. When she gets closer, she can see that they're wearing pink pajamas, and they seem like their body is all disjointed, like their limbs are turning in the wrong direction. Well, eventually she gets closer to this strange being, and they turn their head all the way around, like full exorcism style. And we see that this horrifying bedtime creature has its eyes gouged out of its head and screams, "Where is my baby?" From there, the comic only gets worse, and there's a couple of jump scare moments. It's believed that there's some sort of terrible ghost that is attached to this website, and once you get to the end of the webcomic, it will follow you and attempt to find its lost child. Well, I think it's safe to say that I won't be watching this anytime soon. I'll stick to watching cartoons alone by myself. Coming in at number 9, we have The Joy of Satan. Praise the all-powerful Satan. That's what this website is all about. Well, kinda. Satanism was kinda started as a way to follow the rules of the Dark Lord, but it doesn't involve harming anyone or horrifying sacrifices like some people would believe. It's actually more about indulgence, and a big part of it is making fun of other religions. But this website takes some of those things and then goes down a much darker route. It sort of perverts the idea of Satanism and goes out of its way to attract younger people to the site and tells them that they should perform rituals to summon demons. Yeah, that's taken the whole praise the Dark Lord thing a little too far. There's definitely speculation that there is some sort of dark energy attached to the site. Perhaps the person running it is possessed by a demon who knew that the Dark Lord was getting this tech savvy. Maybe that's why the world is full of sinners right now, because the devil's just better at online marketing. God needs to get with these new trends. Coming in at number 8, we have Lomando.com, probably one of the biggest catfishes on the internet. If someone sends you a link to Lomando.com, it will first look like it's this cutesy Hello Kitty-esque website, but then once you click on the cute little cat girl, you are taken to a website that looks like someone tried to recreate The Ring with clip art. The whole thing is a bunch of jump scares that are super creepy, and if you have fear of those Japanese water monsters, then you should definitely not go to this website. You have to go through a series of games that get creepier and creepier, and some people say that if you get to the end, you will die. I don't think that's true because I literally watched someone play through this whole thing on a YouTube video. Coming in at number 7, we have Death Date. Have you ever wondered when you will die? Probably. I think it's something that every last human on the planet thinks about. No one is so zen that that never goes through their mind. You have to think about your own demise eventually, so it should be no surprise that someone made a website that is said to be haunted and will also tell you when you're supposed to die. That sounds par for the course for the internet. For those of you who don't know, Death Date is a website that will tell you when you're going to die. Spooky! All you have to do is type in very little information and it will serve you up the priceless information of the day of your death. I mean, on one side, that would be really nice because you wouldn't have to think about it anymore. But on the downside, apparently this website can give you a premature death because the site is, of course, cursed. And there is some sort of ghost attached to it that will kill you. Oh my god! Coming in at number 6, we have News of the Future. What is going to happen in 50 years? What will the world look like if we were to blast into the future and see the landscape of the world? Well, there happens to be a website called News of the Future that is all about seeing how the world is trending and wondering what it will be like in 50 years. Not all of the news on this website is the worst, but as you can imagine, a lot of it is horrifying, and it is easy to attach the words cursed to it. They talk about food shortages, chaos, climate change, and a whole bunch of other horrible things that could tear down the world. There are rumors that there is someone who's actually using some sort of paranormal time gate to peer into the future, and that is where this site is getting all of its news from. But I would have to guess that that is 100% untrue. Coming at number 5, we have Cryptomondo. The legend behind this cursed website is pretty wild. First, let's break down what this website is. It's a blog where a whole bunch of people can come in and talk about things related to cryptids. It's mostly posting links and talking about Bigfoot and other mysterious monsters. The website isn't really heavily used, but I read a wild theory online about this site, that the site itself is actually a cryptid. Some people think that the website is a living, breathing, mythical beast that is cataloging information that people are sharing about other cryptids. If this thing is real, why would it do something like this? Well, for a multitude of reasons. Some people say that it's using this information so it can keep all the cryptids secret, and other people think that this cyber cryptid can change into several different websites, and this is just one of its forms. It's one of the wildest theories I have ever heard about a website, but I thought it would work perfectly for this list of paranormal pages. Coming in at number 4, we have Mystic Universe. Mystic Universe is the website that is the key component of one of the most popular podcasts about supernatural and anything unexplained. Mystic Universe focuses on aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, and all things in between. If you go to this website, you will find a ton of detailed breakdowns about every supernatural story you have heard of that will keep you interested for an endless amount of time. Now, this site contains paranormal content, not in the sense that there is a ghost locked away in it, but you can read tons of testimonies from people who have come in contact with the paranormal. In the Mystic Universe podcast, they do some deep dives into all of the unexplained things that people have encountered out in this wild world, and they have an open mind to constantly ask, what if this story is true? The only reason this website would be cursed is because it will suck you in for an endless amount of time. Coming in at number 3, we have Creepypasta, one of the most famous horror websites that has ever been created. You can spend an endless amount of time rummaging through horror story after horror story on this website, and you would never run out of content to look at. Some of it is good, some of it is bad, but all of it has to do with the horror genre. And there has been several rumors about this website being haunted. Some people say there are specific creepypastas like Laughing Jack or The Rake. Some people say that if you read too much of them, you will manifest them into real life and they will start to haunt you. Other people say that the whole website is monitored by some sort of dark entity that feeds off of fear. Every time someone goes onto the website and reads something and then gets scared, the creature will become stronger. It's sitting in the shadows, getting more and more powerful until the perfect moment pops up and then it can strike. Honestly, that sounds like the most innovative plan that an evil demon could ever come up with. Who inspired this guy? Gary Vee? Coming at number 2, we have Hashima Island, one of the lost cities of the world. For most of these cities, if you want to peek inside, you have to fly over there and go check it out firsthand. But for Hashima Island, Google Earth has done the whole tour of this place. You can go see what this ghost city looks like from every angle without leaving your house. That's pretty cool. Hashima Island is off the coast of Japan and used to be teeming with people. It was a massive mining city, and the whole city surrounds one of the deepest coal mines in the world. Eventually the mine dried up and the city turned to rubble as people left, and there was no more work on the island. Now it's said that ghosts haunt the island, and there's even rumors that the mine is a tunnel to hell. Venturing through this website and sightseeing the place that has a doorway to hell might not be the best way to avoid having something paranormal invade your life. I wouldn't be surprised if the devil himself worked his way into one of those Google image pictures. And coming into the number 1 spot, we have the Dianea House, one of the creepier stories that is tucked away in the internet. It's the story of two buddies. It starts off as something nice, and as most things on this list, it slowly gets creepier and creepier. The two buddies are named Mark and Eric. Eric seems to be normal, but his buddy Mark loses his mind one day and goes out and murders two people and then takes his own life. Eric is not satisfied with the idea that his friend just went crazy, so he starts to dig deeper and deeper into the story until he is contacted by the Dianea House. Not long after this, Eric goes missing forever. Now, if you look into the official backstory on this, the whole thing is a work of fiction. But the internet is never satisfied with this. Some people claim that the Dianea House is real, and if you look too deeply into it, you will go missing as well. Some say that Eric's ghost now haunts the website and tells people everything was a work of fiction, so they will look deeper into it and finish the work that he never got to finish.
So at number 10, we have EvieBot. EvieBot website that consists of a female artificially intelligent chatbot that you are able to chat with and have conversations with. It's pretty creepy if you ask me. Not only is she extremely creepy looking, but sometimes she's able to read and understand what kind of person you are. Many people have been screenshotting and sharing their conversations on Reddit. One example comes from Reddit user DrakeOT7. So the EvieBot starts talking first. The EvieBot says, "I'm all alone, but something is staring at me." Well, the user said, who's staring at you? EvieBot replies with saying, "Death is life, life is death." Like, holy What are you talking about? Is death coming for me right now? Absolutely horrifying. You guys won't guess this next one. Next up at number 9, I don't know who is like Google searching these things, but like I said at the intro of this video, I've gone into some pretty deep places online because you're just clicking and then it's like related and you're clicking and all of a sudden you're, yeah. Well, this one we're talking about planecrashinfo.com because people are interested in plane crashes? Well, this website just feels disrespectful in so many ways. The only information is provided it's transcripts of the last words of passengers and flight crew before their plane crashes. And you know what? Because we, film a lot of these types of videos, my search history, if a police officer or let's say an investigator were to come to my office and search my history, they got me searching all these things for you guys. But make sure you guys aren't going on it because the things like you're just going to be having nightmares about it, like you're literally listening to the last words of people on planes. Next up, number 8 is simulationargument.com because you don't want to argue with yourself. You may as well go online and argue with artificial intelligence. Well, now I'm sure you've heard of the theory before that we're all just living in a giant game of Sims, right? I mean, if you look high enough, we might see a dome. It might be the Truman Show. And that we aren't actually real. I know Jim Carrey, he doesn't think we're real.
And neither of us exist. And
energy.
We're energy. We're one giant field of energy dancing for itself.
Well, this website attempts to prove that theory. It has gathered all the information available that defends the idea that we're all living in a simulation. And could you imagine that that is actually reality? Like reality is not reality? I'm a little bit confused right now. And it wasn't made by some tinfoil hat guy either. Well, this claim was made by a Harvard professor, which makes me think because like he's smart, I'm not smart, whatever he says, like, it's gotta be right? Well, honestly, as cool as this website is, I feel like if it falls into the wrong hands, it might unravel life as we know it and might leave us with too many questions. Our coming in number 7 slot today, we have skywaybridgejumpers.com. Well, in a similar vein as, the plane crash website, this one exists solely to document tragedy. So someone's literally sitting there like, oh, did someone just die? What time? Okay. Well, seriously, it's way too many people seem to know coding. I mean, I think it's just pulling data from like morgues or funerals. This website really only documents how many people end their lives by jumping off specific bridges. And we all know the Golden Gate Bridge is a popular one for people to jump off. And there was actually one recent survivor who talked about his tragedy and his story.
On the way down, I said to myself, what have I just done? I don't want to die. God, please save me. And I hit the water. I went down 70 feet beneath the water's surface, but I opened my eyes. My legs, I couldn't move.
It's literally just something incredibly heartbreaking. Something that I just wouldn't go. I wouldn't search. Number 6 goes to angels-heaven.org. If you ask me, this sounds like one big digital cult. It literally explains that Earth is going to be destroyed by catastrophes. I mean, hello 2020 you called. I'm pretty sure we're facing something pretty serious right now. I wonder if COVID is in that list on that website. Well, and only specific people with a wide open fourth chakra? People, Google search chakra. And tell me if I have 3 of them. So pretty much though, not everyone can go on this website. You have to have like powers, like a third eye, if you will. This website will actually guide you through to become one of the chosen ones. And oh yeah, did I mention there are aliens, like intergalactic pointy-headed aliens? Because they're pointy-headed, right? I've watched cartoons. Alright, halfway through this list, number 5 we have housecreep.com, which basically just gives you a list of houses, apartments, and other places close to you that have seen violent crimes, horrific deaths, hauntings, the totally normal stuff that will drive house prices down. Because is it true that if someone dies in a house, you get a little discount, like the 10% death discount? I mean, these houses, it would definitely satisfy all your ghost hunting temptations, especially during the Halloween season. We all know that's coming up. By the time you guys watch this, it's probably just around the corner. And I'm not suggesting you guys go to these places just because you think that there's ghosts inside. I mean, a lot of these places, people are living inside of them. Number 4, we have deathdate.info. Honestly, okay, let me know. Would you guys want to know the day you die? Like, if you go on a website, you touch it with fingerprint or face ID, you know, the technology, the future is here, and you find out like October 31st, 2020, you're gonna die. Would you wanna know your death date? I'm not sure if I'm ready for all that. Unless I'm guaranteed that I'm gonna live till 90, just tell me if I'm living past 90. Well, you basically put in as much information like your birthday, your weight, etc. And it gives you the exact day you're gonna die. Fun, right? Well, I really doubt it's legit. I don't think the technology is there. I know Elon Musk sent a car and like a person, like a dummy in the car to space. It's on its way to Mars. It's getting there. I know we can do stuff like that, but I'm not sure if we can do stuff like this. Number 3 goes to opentopia.com. I actually can't believe this is a real thing that exists on the internet so openly. Opentopia is a website filled with live active cameras that you can view in real life. Like, I'm not kidding. You can actually go to this, check it out. It shows the nearest cameras to your location, and it also shows a map of the world. You can literally zoom into places in real time. You probably can't check out the cameras in like Russia or North Korea because, well, North Korea has no coronavirus there, and Russia's top secret. Not only that, there's cameras on street corners, but there's also cameras inside dental offices, so you can get your satisfaction and see that cavity being filled in. Community centers, universities, you can see people learning about stuff. Can you imagine walking down the street alone at night and someone is literally tracking you and watching your every move? Like, I'd be walking and being like, boo, I'd try to scare someone. Nearly there. Number 2 is bestgore.com. Honestly, if you have a sensitive stomach like me or just a normal stomach, don't go to this website. It is incredibly gory and shows real footage of people experiencing horrible things, like having their heads or their limbs removed. Is this real life right now? I have absolutely no idea why this site exists. I hate to say, but it's Canadian. I'm not proud of it. The founder of the website was actually arrested for violating, well, yeah, no duh. They were violating the Canadian public morality laws, and he only stepped down from the site just last year. But seriously, I didn't dive too deep into the site while doing the research for you guys. I couldn't do it. And finally, at number 1, we have a ColumbineSite.com. This website documents one of the most infamous and tragic things to take place in the Columbine massacre, if you guys remember that one. It goes through in much too thorough detail the exact happening of that fateful day that happened in 1999. Absolutely insane. I know videos surface on the internet all the time, especially on the anniversary. You can see the exact routes that Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold took through the school. Like, you can watch serial killers walking through the school on how this thing unfolds. You can watch the video from before, you know, the happened, and during the event, and after it as well. The website even has a warning that says it contains disturbing content, which not many websites do. Seriously, it's heartbreaking and infuriating. I recommend not ever visiting that site. It's just not, we don't need to see or remember the negativity to that.
Coming in at number 10, we have TMZ. Wait, what? I found an article on BuzzFeed that claims that TMZ is haunted. I quote, TMZ is said to be haunted by the restless spirit of a former writer who died tragically on the day she was due to be married. Some visitors to the website have reported seeing a sad-eyed spectre which roams across a random popular article once a day at the witching hour, Pacific Standard Time. Others have reported strange chills and hearing a quiet weeping sound. Honestly, I feel like I need more information. Have you guys ever experienced this on TMZ? Surely this is a joke from BuzzFeed to TMZ, their competition, right? Coming in at number 9, no idea if I'm going to pronounce this properly, we have Repla snattas.com. I made the mistake of opening this site while scripting this video. Not only is it reportedly cursed, but it also is a pain in the ass as you can't navigate away from it. So the story goes that Repla snattas was a young girl born in the 18th century who had a birthmark, so obviously people thought she was spawn of the devil. Classic. Sadly though, her dad also thought she was evil, so he murdered her. Through some kind of crazy turn of modern day events, a domain was registered in her name and now she haunts it. Obviously. You can get on the site at any time of day, but you'll just see candles burning as a vigil for her. But if you come back at midnight, apparently the haunted site is active. At this time, you could submit a name of a person who you want to take revenge, and Repla's little ghost will do it for you. But her ghost will then appear in your dreams every day until you die, so honestly I don't think that sounds like an exchange I want to get into. Revenge. Living well is the best revenge. Don't use crazy haunted little girl ghost sites. Also, read that domain name backwards. Coming in at At number 8 we have blindmaiden.com. This is a bit of an urban legend, but the story goes that there is a website out there called Blind Maiden, which is only accessible at midnight on the night of a new moon with all of the lights off in your house. The story goes that when you're finally in the website, ultimate horror begins. It seems that you're faced with real life horror situations like a live cam and you have to click accept or decline. Apparently a warning appears on the site that reads, "This website will take you to a whole new level of horror, a horror that will use all 5 of your senses. You must be very careful not to click on anything by accident. You will be faced with the real experience of absolute horror. Click the accept button to engage actively in the experience." Honestly, I'd actively like to disengage. Thank you. Next. Oh, coming in at number 7 we have Sad Satan. This is an old cursed chestnut. Sad Satan is a reportedly cursed video game found on the so-called dark web. YouTube channel Obscure Horror Corner lived up to their name when they shared a scary screenplay of the game on their YouTube channel, and honestly, it just looks a bit too intense for me. Like, whatever happened to Spyro the Dragon? That's my favourite game. Also, sounds really intense, and I don't like that, honestly, stop it. Spyro sounded like a treat. So in Sad Satan, the player is walking down a dark alley and horrible radio signals start coming through. During the gameplay, from time to time, a blank screen will appear with strange markings. Now, Reddit was on the case. They decided that actually there were things in the background that were saying things like kill, 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 and I can track you. I don't know. Finally, at the end, the game cuts to a black screen in which the phrase "suffering doesn't end" appears. Doesn't sound great to me. I think I'll be giving this website an absolute miss. No more Sad Satan. Thanks. No. I actually can't even find the Sad Satan website where you can play the game anymore. I guess dark web. Need me some more dark web. Coming into number 6, we have deadmanswitch.net. I don't think this website is cursed on research, but it certainly is one way to make your relatives, friends, or enemies think that you're reaching them beyond the grave if you die. This morbid but actually pretty functional website is basically a site that will send out emails to recipients of your choice after you die. Why? Well, sometimes there are things that you wish that you could have said, or feelings that you don't want to take to the grave. Okay, but how? How does it send them out after you die? How does it know? The emails are sent at certain intervals. By default, the switch will email you 30, 45 and 52 days after you last showed signs of activity. If you don't respond to any of those emails, all of your messages will be sent 60 days after your last check-in. So basically, you could spook people out when you're actually dead by making them think that you're haunting them via email. Good. Great. Coming in at number 5, I don't like this, we have White Enamel. I really don't like this website, and I feel like I say this for every one of the points on this list, but really, I don't like it. White Enamel is clearly haunted, or cursed, or both. What's a bit of haunting without some curse on the side? There's like some serious bad juju here. So this website is a point and click, and it seems to be some kind of like horrifying online game or interactive movie or something. When the site launches, you are overlooking a town. You can then explore parts of it, and it seems to be like a mental asylum with scary sounds and scary rooms that will really get into your brain. There's one part where you can draw on the walls in blood, which I really don't think is great. Also, the page loading screens are needles that lose fluid, and I kind of feel like I'm being injected with a real life curse, and I don't like it. No thank you. I also see that the browser was telling me that the site wasn't secure, so maybe I'm not the one who's cursed, but my computer's going to be when it gets a weird virus. Honestly, stay away from it. Coming in at number 4, we have joyofsatan.com. Troll lol 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 lol. That's what I have to say. The website Joy of Satan is extensive and claims that Satanism is humanity's only religion. Honestly, the whole site wangs on so much, it's a bit of a bore, but for those who believe in Satan, I do think that the site could be a bit worrisome. It has scripture praising Satan, blogs aimed at converting kids to Satanism, spells for summoning Satan, summoning demons in general, satanic meditation, and tips on how to dedicate your soul to the horned man himself. Sure. It all does sound pretty cursed to me, doesn't it? Although, weirdly, the site is very against animal cruelty, which I am here for, so you know, swings and roundabouts. Enough of you, Satan, let's have some staggering beauty at number 3. I actually really like this website, but it is quite likely to give you a seizure, so I'm deeming it somewhat cursed. Basically, it is a mysterious floopy old worm that follows your mouse. You can generally like floop it from side to side, but if you do it too quickly, it will make your brain explode. Trust me. Blah. Honestly, I did it for a bit and mine's pretty frazzled. Too much playing with crazy worm. Also, if you just leave Wormy live on the screen and look into his eyes, well, he's got a treat for you. Coming in at number 2, we have the online Ouija board. Real Ouija boards, in my opinion, should not be messed with. Starting life as a parlor game in the late 1800s, mystics began using Ouija boards to contact the dead. You should check out our top 10 list on them. We've got a Ouija board urban legends and our top 10 Ouija board stories. Of course, you can now access Ouija boards online, but are they legit? I found one and I asked, "Where are you?" and it said, "A dark place." I said, "I need more information," and it said, "Not known." I asked who they were. They said an enemy, and then I asked them if they clocked in for their shift because it's customary in this workplace, and they said it was too dark. I'll try that excuse next time. I then asked what their intention was, and they told me to leave them alone, so I said "K bye," and then they once again said it was too dark, and I'm basically a bit freaked out, but not really because I don't think it's legit. Honestly, an online Ouija board, I feel like websites can be programmed to move. Still though, is it worth running the risk? Finally, coming into number 1, we have Possession Begins. I am not in the market for this nasty experience. This is easily the scariest website I've ever visited in my life, and if you scare easily, I would not recommend it. So this is an all senses immersive experience. You plug your headphones in and turn your webcam on, which is already a bit of a hard no for me. No webcam. No thank you. Then a screen changes as you open and close your eyes. Now while your eyes are closed, you hear a disconcerting male voice in your ears telling you to come back to him. It's clear that the voice in your headphones is the voice possessing your mind, and I just want it to go. You can get rid of the voice by opening your eyes, but when you do, you'll see some truly horrible scenes. No doubt in my mind that that website is definitely cursed.
Coming in at number 10, we have Shay St. John. It's strange how something so crude can be so creepy. You think if you saw a poorly made website, you would just write it off, but not with this guy. This website will send a shiver down your spine with all the strange, distorted faces, menacing music, and weird animations. The website is apparently dedicated to a supermodel who used to be famous, but then a horrible accident left her disfigured. She was so badly damaged the doctors were forced to rebuild her body, but without any available donors and the girl's life about to slip away, they resorted to restructuring her body with mannequin parts. This created an abomination that will strike terror into your soul. Honestly, this sounds like the plot of a pretty good horror movie. I don't think you get a good look at what this apparent supermodel on this website is, but there's a bunch of strange faces and links that will give more story to this internet legend. After a few minutes on this website, you're gonna feel very weird inside. Coming in at number 9, we have Meat Spin. If you don't consider creepy internet urban legends cursed, then what about a strange pornographic prank? Meat Spin is one of the oldest cursed websites on the internet. People were cursing each other with this one when I was a kid. Meat Spin sounds like some sort of tool you would buy for your kitchen that spins meat for some reason and then makes it taste really good, but that's not what this is at all. Meat Spin might be the first gift that I have ever seen. When you open up this page, it's just a repeating image of some dude's penis spinning over and over and over again. I believe the technical term for this is the helicopter. Now, even though this image will burn its way into your psyche, that's not the only reason that this is cursed. It's mostly because the page will start jumping around all over your screen so you can't close it. So it's just a spinning wang floating around on your screen and you can't get rid of it, and the whole time you're like, oh my god, I hope no one walks in and sees this right now because this whole thing would be horrible. Coming in at number 8, we have Jamilyn.com. You know when you think about how people used to get conned by snake oil salesmen, and we think about how stupid they were back then for falling for something like that, but then you see the amount of people who buy into some strange health fad and it all makes sense. Well, Jamilyn.com is a website dedicated to some ladies need to sell you strange elixirs that don't do anything, but she claims that they will fight the aging process. She talks about how to raise and evolve your consciousness, how to use feng shui and astrology to help get your life in order, and how you can get into her affiliate program. Yeah, nothing says success like a strange tincture and mercury rocks that you can buy off some lady that has a clip art website. The curse you're gonna get here is when she attacks your wallet and charges you a ton of money to buy her infomercial style motivational videos. Also, who knows what's going on in those strange ointments that she's selling you. Coming in at number 7, we have homicide.org.br. Do you have trouble sleeping because you're worried that someone will break into your house at night and murder you? Well, you shouldn't check out this cursed website because it's going to make sure that you never sleep again. This website is dedicated to giving you the gruesome details of murders from all over the world. You can check out some of the most recent ones, or you could check out homicides that have taken place in your own hometown. And there are detailed breakdowns. You can find out the person's name, age, how they were killed, and if the person who killed them was caught. Reading all those grisly details is enough to have your eyes wide open while you struggle to quiet your mind in the middle of the night. Coming at number 6, we have plane crash info. How could you get more cursed than all of the details from someone dying? How about all of the details compiled with some voice recordings? Plane crash info is all of those things. If you visit the website Plane Crash Info, you will not only get info on how the planes went down, whether it was running out of fuel or something malfunctioning on the plane, but you will also get to hear the black box recordings. Some of these are just pilots going through the steps, trying to figure out what went wrong with the plane as it goes down. They usually sound eerily calm as they work their way through troubleshooting to try and save hundreds of lives. I know if I was in that situation, I would not be able to keep a brave face. But some of the voice recordings are people in terror as a plane crashes towards the earth. If you want to hear screams in your mind throughout the day, then check out this cursed website. Coming in at number 5, we have US Debt Clock. Do you want a break from worrying about money? Does the anxiety of losing everything because of financial ruin weigh constantly on you? Do you think about how the world economy makes no sense and the monetary collapse of civilization could be around the corner? Well, do I have a website for you? US Debt Clock is a website that is constantly updating you with the accumulated debt of countries from around the world. And if you think it can't be that bad, when you find out that pretty much every country is trillions of dollars in debt, you'll start to wonder, how is anyone supposed to pay the money back if everyone is in debt? Does this mean the world economic structure will implode and we're gonna have to fight each other for resources when money means nothing? Well, you can stop worrying about this by never visiting this website, or you can go check it out every day and simultaneously start building a bunker for when the world goes to shit. Coming in at number 4, we have blindmaiden.com. Now let's get into some supernatural stuff. It wouldn't be a list about curses unless we were able to work in a ghost or two. Well, Blind Maiden is a website that apparently has the worst horrors that a person could ever see. The images will tear your soul open and make you cry like a baby. They are apparently a bunch of pictures of people with their eye holes ripped open. This obviously is very scary, but where do these pictures come from? Well, they come from the Blind Maiden, who is supposed to be the ghost lady who sneaks up on you while you're looking at some of these horrific images on this website, and she will rip your eyes out, take a picture of your deformed face, and then add it to the collection. Yeah, that's gonna be a no thank you from me. I don't need anything like that happening to me. Coming in at number 3 is Proana website. Out of everything so far on this list, this was the hardest for me to look at. I don't know why, but eating disorders are really hard for me to look at. Seeing people wasting away in their own shell really makes me feel uneasy, and I can almost feel their pain in my own body. Proana is a website that promotes anorexia and bulimic lifestyles. Instead of trying to help people get out of the loop of starving themselves, they get more entrenched in hurting themselves through starvation and food. Something like this is extremely dangerous. This is cursed for the fact that getting caught up in a community like this will have long-term damage to your physiology. I really feel sorry for people who struggle with things like eating disorders, but getting more entrenched in the lifestyle is not the answer. On the bright side, there are way more websites that help people with these problems rather than ones that encourage them to get more sick. Coming in at number 2, we have Sad Satan. Nothing like an interactive horror game to make you feel really scared. This creepy website takes away the user's ability to look away and cower in fear because you gotta be looking at the screen while you're playing the video game. Sad Satan has been on the internet for ages, and although it sounds like the title of an emo metal band, it's something much more sinister. Sad Satan is a walking simulator that has you move down a series of hallways. The music is very tense, and as you get deeper and deeper into the maze, a series of jumbled radio messages will start to screech out through the speakers. As you progress further, you'll start to get images that pop out without context, but with the atmosphere that the game creates, let me tell you, they are horrifying. On top of this, there is strange scripture that will appear on the walls of the maze, and some of it apparently translates to things like kill, and you are going to die slowly. This sounds so pleasant. And coming in at number 1, we have Run the Gauntlet, a website mixed with a challenge, and the only prize is horrible memories. Run the Gauntlet is a website dedicated to showing disgusting videos that increase in intensity as you progress through the content. They have a level system so you know exactly how deep you're getting and how much worse the new videos will be from the previous one. It obviously starts at level 1 and ends up going all the way to level 21. I have to say that I didn't go visit this one myself because I don't like to invite those kind of horrors into my psyche, but apparently this website contains the most horrific images and videos on the internet, all compiled into one place. And since the whole purpose of the site is to challenge you to see if you can make it to the end of this gauntlet, I'm sure that the people involved went out of their way to live up to the expectation of the website. This is a curse challenge I won't be trying anytime soon.